Hi everyone, welcome to my page, welcome to my platform. My name is Gertrude and this platform is Step Into Your Truth. So today I wanted to touch on pain because pain is a universal thing that we all go through, and everybody is walking around with some sort of pain or has been through some sort of pain, and I'm talking about emotional pain here. And pain is related to heartbreak, it's related to loss, and we see it in all facets of life. Like I said, everybody, this is something everybody can relate to because it is such a universal thing. It is such a big thing in our day-to-day lives and in the grand scheme of things. Look at the TVs, for example. You turn on the news and there is pain. There is domestic violence, murder, child abuse, the economy is bad. There is just pain. And for that reason, I don't watch news as much as I probably should, because you find that you turn on the TV and it's all negative stuff. And that makes me sad. So I try my best to avoid it. Granted, you need to keep up with current affairs, but for the most part, they're just talking about negative things, so I try to avoid it. There's pain in the music we listen to, right? All those singers, when they're singing about heartbreak or loss, whatever the case, it's because they've been through some pain, hence they feel the need to write a song, or that's how they heal. It helps us heal as well, because when you're listening to music and you're going through the most, you feel like, oh wow, I can relate to that song, that happened to me. And you see these celebrities or singers who beef, as you call it, you find that they're beefing because they feel like the person they're beefing with has betrayed them and has broken their heart. So they're in pain, right? And they feel like this is the only way I can get my pain out. Sometimes it's not as healthy, but like I said, nobody is immune to pain. And then we find pain in families. Families is a big one, actually, because unfortunately we cannot choose our family. We are born into that environment. So for example, if you have parents who are raising kids in a painful environment, in a turmoil environment, in an environment full of turmoil, and they're raising those kids to be that way because that's all they know, because they were raised in that environment as well. So they don't know anything else. So they're in pain and they're raising their kids in that environment. And when their kids have their own kids or meet other people, they perpetuate that, or they attract people who are in pain as well. And it just becomes pain after pain after pain. And you see, it's a generational thing. You find that all the way from your great grandma, she was going through some sort of pain, whether it's pain caused by man, and then her daughter attracts that, and then her daughter attracts that, and so on and so on. If nobody breaks the cycle, it is something that's always going to be in your family, and it's something that it takes one person to heal the hurt, to first acknowledge it and to heal it for the people that came before you who were not able to heal it themselves, right? And we also find pain in the workplace. I know of a lady I work with. She is very negative, I must say, and and as much as it's awful, because I should be trying to help her, but I find that I avoid conversations with her because her energy is draining, her energy is negative, and she also has controlling tendencies, right? So one day I sat there and I said to myself, what must have this woman gone through for her to, one, be so negative about everything, and two, be so controlling? Maybe at some point in her life, control was taken away from her. She felt like she had no control over whatever situation. And now that she feels like she's got some sort of control, she is going to control every aspect of her life, including work, because people tend to carry a lot of their baggage at work because, one, they haven't dealt with it and it presents itself at work, because we spend a lot of time there and there are stressful moments at work. And if you're in that stressful environment, your only way to cope is this, right? The negative stuff that has come from a traumatic experience. So if you haven't dealt with it, it's going to present itself up at work, whether it's with your friends, whatever the case, it's going to come up if you haven't dealt with it. And then so pain at the end of the day is a result of you feeling like you've been betrayed, right? Let's look at a romantic relationship, for example. If you feel like you've given that person your all, and you've given that person your soul, you've given them your heart, you've given them your body, and then they betray you, whether it's through cheating, whether it's through not loving you anymore, but you feel betrayed because you feel like, I have given you everything, but that wasn't enough, and you've betrayed my trust, and you've betrayed my love, then that's when you feel the pain. Because if you don't feel betrayed, I would argue you're not going to feel any sort of pain about it, right? But if you feel betrayed, that's when the pain comes in, right? So it is, people will betray you because they're people. It's just how it is. In as much as people like to think they do things for others, people a lot of the time do things for themselves. People think about themselves before they think about the next person. So if you have an expectation that, no, this man or this woman is supposed to be this in my life, and it turns out that they're not. And another example is family, right? We are born in this world with the idea that, or the understanding that family is supposed to love you, family is supposed to provide for you, and family is supposed to be there for you. And for whatever reason, things don't happen the way you have been told things need to happen. You feel a sense of betrayal. You feel like, what? You're supposed to be my family. How could you do this to me? But people are people, and pain is pain. Pain is a part of who we are. Pain helps us grow, and we need to not be afraid to feel pain, because we only grow from that. We learn, hopefully you learn and you grow. If you don't feel, if you don't go through stuff, if you don't go through hard times, if you don't go through pain, you are not going to be able to learn and evolve on to the next level, right? So in my case, I found that I was very comfortable in my relationship, and I was very comfortable to the point where I was complacent. I was very blasé. I was very unaware. I was just, in bliss and in heaven bliss, and I was just, and I used to put a lot of people ahead of myself. So I just wasn't living my truth. I wasn't living up to my full potential, which, if I'm true to myself, I knew I wasn't. Because there were times, a lot of the times, I just felt I did not feel a sense of fulfillment. And that to me, now I know, I'm aware. Now I know I was just, it was just a result of me not fulfilling what my purpose was, which I didn't know what it was, and I wasn't very keen on finding out, because I was, like I said, I was comfortable, I was happy, right? But so what happened for me is the world as I saw it changed, right? The world as I knew it was shaken, right? I felt like the rug was pulled right under my feet, and the ground I stood on shifted, right? That was that pain. That was that expectation I had that my relationship was supposed to be like this. And then when somebody else, my husband at the time, decided that no, he was going to go on this path, I felt betrayed. It was painful. Like I said, it hurt. There was a lot of confusion, and there was a lot of anger, and there was a lot of all these emotions. But the underlying thing was pain, because I felt betrayed, right? But in saying that, as I was going through my healing, it then dawned on me that if I needed to go where God wanted me to go, I needed for my world to be shaken. Because I don't think there's any other way, knowing myself, I don't think there's any other way I would have learned what I needed to learn. 1, about myself, 2, about my purpose, and 3, about the world. There is no way I would have learned that if I had, if God had just given me a nudge, or if somebody had told me everything I'm sharing with you, if somebody had told me without having gone through that, I would have been like, What are they talking about? They don't know what they're talking about. I'm fine. I'm happy. This is my path. But I had to go through that. And the greater the pain, the greater the purpose, right? So once I figured that out, and that took time, it happened through my healing. Once I figured that out, I sort of then took a breath and I said, wow, it in as much as it was painful and it wasn't funny and it wasn't fun and it was frustrating, I learned my lesson from it. I guess that's my biggest takeaway. You go through pain, you acknowledge it, right? And you heal from it, and then you figure out what the lesson is. And then hopefully when you go forward, you know better, so you're going to do better, and you're not going to find yourself in that situation again. Problem is, if you haven't dealt it, if you haven't acknowledged the pain, because a lot of us don't want to feel the pain, it's too much. So I'd rather just suppress it, like my workmates. This is, I believe this. Suppress it, haven't dealt with it, haven't healed from it, it will show up. It might show up in one go, or it might show up through your life, but it's going to show up, or you're going to keep attracting the same type of pain in your life, right? So my takeaway from this is acknowledge the pain. It is there not to break you, to bruise you a little, because you're going to be bruised, but it's not there to break you, right? You are built for it. You are strong enough to deal with it. Just deal with it. Acknowledge, heal, learn, and move on. Take the lesson in your next life, in your next relationship, not life, but in your next relationship, in your next friendship, in your next situation, in your next job. Take what you've learned from that, because that is the growth. You acknowledging that, okay, this is what I've learned about myself during this time. This is what I've learned about myself during this pain, is then what we call growth, right? There is no growing in comfort. That's why I said I was comfortable. I was not growing. I was stagnant like this. Stagnant, not doing anything. And because and because my subconscious was aware that this is not us. We are not meant to be sitting here. That's why it would come up. I would feel this sense of not being fulfilled. So if we take away that and we understand that pain, it's going to hurt, it's going to bruise, it's okay. It will be okay. If anybody is watching this, know it will be okay. You just need to trust the process, and you need to trust yourself. And you need to trust that there is a lesson. It might be a small lesson. It might be a lesson to teach you how to smile. It might be a lesson to teach you how to look at things, how to not take yourself too seriously. I don't know what your lesson is going to be, but there's going to be a lesson in there. And as soon as you learn it, there is freedom. Trust me, there is freedom in that, because you feel, okay, I didn't go through that in vain. I went through that so I could be elevated to where I am today. And that's why you are strong, and that's why you're powerful, and that's you stepping into your truth. Thanks, guys. Till next time. Bye.